everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm super excited to show you how I'm going to design and create my daughter's birthday cake topper. It is going to be an acrylic cake topper this time. I have done cake toppers a time or two on my channel, and I'm really excited with this new look that I'm going to be doing today. So I can't wait to show you how the design turns out. It's super cute. I'm going to be using a holographic vinyl plus a couple other different solid colors, and it turns out really sweet in the end. So because we're using a variety of vinyls, I'm going to also show you how I'll use parchment paper to line up everything to make sure everything just lays down perfectly and in the perfect alignment. If you can't tell, I've really fallen in love with the parchment paper method, and I hope you love that as well. So let's hop into Design Space. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get this design all started so that we can cut it out and get it assembled, and it turns out super cute. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for this year's cake topper, I'm going to do an acrylic cake topper. So I am going to use a 5-inch round acrylic cake topper. And so the first thing I want to do is come over to shapes, and I just want to replicate that size so I can visually design the design I would like and make sure all the elements are sized appropriately. So I'm just going to come up and make this 5 inches, and then I will make everything big so that we can really see as we're designing. Okay, so now I'm just going to make my topper just a gray color. It's going to be clear, but this will help us see. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm going to come over to images, and the first thing I'm going to search for is rainbow. I am doing a unicorn themed birthday, so I'm going to base my design around unicorns. And the first element I want to put on there is a really fun rainbow. So I'm going to use this. So I have it selected, which allows me to come back up to the search bar, and I can type in another element, which is unicorn, to search for the next piece. And I like this right here, so I'm going to select this and I'll insert both images to my canvas. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is get everything sized and designed perfectly for my little cake topper. Okay, so I'm going to start with my rainbow. I'll place it right on my topper here where I'd like it, and then I'll bring my unicorn in, size that down just a little bit, and place that where I would like. Okay, so I actually really like how this looks just like so. Okay, and then I might select both and bring it down just a little bit. So now that I like how everything looks, I am going to select the rainbow. I'll come over to the layers panel, and I'm going to hide the yellow arch, which is just the largest of the arches here. So I'm going to take that and just click the I button to remove it. And instead of having that yellow arch, I'm going to type out happy birthday and make an arch out of words instead. So I'm going to come over to text. I am going to use the font Falling Leaves Print. So I will come up and search for Falling. It is a font that I purchased from Font Bundles in a bundle, and I really like it. So I'll select that. I'll link it in the description box below in case you'd like to purchase it as well. And I will type out happy birthday with an exclamation point. Okay, so now what I like to do is I'm going to size this down just a little bit, and then I'm just going to position it over my arch there. Then I'm going to come up to the curve, and I am going to curve that to the right to have that curve down. And then what I can do is I can just keep playing with the sizing to see how that lines up. Okay, it's starting to take shape. I'm going to take away or add a little bit of curve. Still, I think it's a little big. Okay, and then maybe reduce the curve a little bit. So it's just a little bit of trial and error to see exactly how you want it to look, and I actually really like that, so I am going to call that good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my unicorn and my rainbow, and I'm just selecting Command on my keyboard to highlight both of them, and I'm just going to bring them off of my little cake topper for just a second. What I want to do is I actually want to slice the unicorn away from the rainbow because I don't want to lay the unicorn vinyl on top of the clouds. I want to actually lay them between the clouds so that everything is flush, everything's the same, and there's no creasing, because if you put vinyl on top of vinyl, there can be some creasing, and I just don't want that look. So what I'm going to do is just position this exactly how I'd like it. Then I'm going to duplicate my unicorn and set that copy off to the side. And then what I can do is I can only select 2 layers at a time, but the only layers that are going to be affected are the original unicorn and the clouds. So I have those 2 selected, and I'm going to come down and say slice. What that's going to do is it's going to slice out some areas on the clouds where that unicorn will just fit perfectly within. So now I just need to grab the little slice results and pull those down, or just bring them down this way. Okay, we'll put this back roughly where that goes. And then the reason I duplicated my unicorn was because during the slicing, it sliced out the unicorn as well. So I want to make sure I have the same unicorn at the same size ready to go. So then this little guy will just, there we go, fit right there, but it will not be overlapping anything. It will just fit where it belongs. Okay, so now I think I have everything exactly how I'd like it. So now I just need to make sure I color code my vinyl so that my machine knows which pieces to cut on which color. So for the happy birthday, I'm going to use a holographic material, so I'll just make that purple. And then I'm also going to do the same out of the unicorn with the holographic. And then I'm going to use a brighter pink for the top, or the middle part, actually, the middle curve. That's going to be a brighter pink. So I'll just grab the pink, and that will be good. And then I have a lighter pink and then a blue. So that's all good. Now I don't want my Cricut to cut out a circle. This was just for sizing purposes. So what I will do now is just delete this or hide it. Now that I am all ready to go, I can go ahead and select my Cricut Joy and say make it. Because I'm using just regular materials and not smart materials, I will say on a mat, and I will say done. Then you will see on the left side that all of my pieces will be designated to their particular mat based on what material they are cutting out of, and it will show the mat in order of where we're going to load it in. So it has some numbers on there based on which order we will load the colors in. Then I can go ahead and say continue. It will locate my Joy, and then I can go ahead and say premium vinyl for mat 1, 2, and 4. And then for mat 3, I will actually use, let me see if I can show you. Let me go back in and browse all materials. I will go all the way down to vinyl, and I am going to use premium vinyl holographic for that 3rd mat. Okay, so I'll get everything cut out, and we will get this little cake topper all assembled. Okay, so I have all my vinyl choices over here. So I have some Oracle 651, I have a little bit of Paper Studio, which is actually Hobby Lobby, and then I have some Cricut, and then this is also a Cricut holographic. So really fun color choices that I think are going to be really fun for her birthday topper. And then this is my little acrylic topper that I'm going to use, and it has a little protective film on both sides, so we'll remove that before applying our vinyl. So now what I'm going to do is select my first piece. So I just need to trim down my pink, and I will place it onto my mat and through my machine. Okay, so just placing the little bit of vinyl onto my mat. I'll open up my Joy and feed my mat in. Then I will just select go on my computer and cut out the first piece. And I will then put each color in as the computer prompts me, and then we'll start putting this together. Okay, so really quickly, what I'm going to do is very gently with my weeding tool, where I will do it actually is at the base or the tip, because it won't matter if I scratch it, but you want to be careful. I'm just going to take my weeding tool and remove that protective film that is on my cake topper. Okay, so I'm just taking that off. Perfect. And then there's also one on the back, so I will remove that as well. Okay, there we go. And now we can see that it is nice and pretty and clear and shiny. It's hard to see, but you'll see in a moment. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Now I did just remove a film from this, so it's probably just fine, but I'm just going to be extra careful, and I'll just put a little rubbing alcohol on that just to make sure that the vinyl sticks really, really well. And then I'm actually going to place this on my little cutting mat just to keep it secure. and just set it there gently. Okay, so there is a little acrylic piece that we have. So I'm going to set that to the side and let that dry. And then I will start weeding all of the little pieces. So we have one of the arches, two of the arches, and then we have our clouds, and then we have our fun holographic piece. So these will be very, very quick and easy to weed out. And then I'm thinking I'll do the parchment paper method to get everything lined up really nicely on our cake topper. Okay, there we go. And then I will split these apart. I can actually see a really good line where I can cut. Usually I weed everything and then cut it apart, but it's pretty obvious on the holographic where the cut lines are. So I will go ahead and start weeding out my little unicorn. And again, I did change my cut setting to premium holographic for this piece. And I just changed out my blade probably a couple tutorials ago, so everything is just cutting so nice and fresh and easy peasy. So I'll just go through and weed out all the little middle pieces of my letters. Okay, so now we are all set. Everything has been weeded. I'm going to get some parchment paper really quickly, and then we will get everything placed on this little acrylic base. Okay, so what I was thinking was, how am I going to get everything lined up? But you know what I think I will do is I will start assembling things on my mat, and then because I'm working with a clear acrylic base, I can actually place my base on top of that just to kind of get an idea of the placement. So you'll see what I mean in just a second. I just want to see how everything is going to be placed on there. So I have everything kind of on the mat where it roughly will go, and then I can see how that's going to turn out just by placing my sign right there. Okay, so I think it may be best, looking at this, to put my clouds down first. So I think that might help with positioning. You can approach this any way you'd like, but for me, I think it makes the most sense to put the clouds down first. So I'm going to take a piece of transfer tape. I might need one piece that's a little bit longer for the clouds. And when you are layering vinyl, I'd recommend a clear transfer tape just so that you can really see through your material, and it will really help with alignment. Okay, so I have my first little transfer tape piece on my clouds, and I want to make sure that I put them on the right direction. So I like to reference Design Space and my original design when I am working on stuff like this, because it will just help me to see which way everything goes. Okay, so I need to put these this way. So I am just going to take my acrylic piece and place this down. Okay, so I like how that looks there. Okay, so then I can take my scraper and scrape down the vinyl, just really press into it, and then I can peel up this transfer tape. Okay, so there is our first little layer right there. Very cute. This is going to look so cute on her cake. So now I have a little piece of parchment paper that is just going to help me as I get everything else lined up. So I think I'll do the unicorn next, and I will just reuse this piece of transfer tape. We'll see if we can do the whole project with the same piece. So I'm going to scrape down the front and then flip it over, press into the back. It really helps when peeling up the cutting carrier sheet. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place all but a little bit of my transfer tape onto my parchment paper, and then what that allows me to do is it allows me to hover over my design and just really see where I'd like to place the little unicorn. So I can find those little grooves that I sliced out in Design Space and line that up perfectly, and I can take my time because there's no commitment. I can just keep moving this around. I'll take my time, get everything lined up. Okay, I think that's good. So then what I can do is I can stick down the transfer tape, and then I can pull out the parchment paper and lay down the vinyl exactly where I had it. And that looks pretty good. So then I can just focus on pressing where that next layer is, which is the unicorn. And then I can peel up slowly, just make sure everything lays down nice. My transfer tape. And there's my little unicorn. And I really like that I sliced that out because now there's no creases underneath my holographic vinyl. If you place vinyl on vinyl, you'll be able to see creases, and that's just, I mean, it's probably just fine, but I like things just so I did it this way. Okay, so now I will just start doing the same method. So I think I will start with the smallest and then go out from there maybe. I think that might work just fine. And like I said, you can go and use any method you'd like to layer vinyl. I just show you what makes sense to me and inspire you with what I'm making. Okay, so then grab my parchment paper. I'll lay everything down on the parchment paper except for just a little piece of that transfer tape. And then I can just start moving this around. Now this is also a time where I'll reference Design Space just to really see where things need to line up and go. So in Design Space, I'm just watching how far away that little arch is from the unicorn, how far away they are from the little clouds. That looks good to me. So I'll press down my transfer tape, peel away my parchment paper, and then press down that first little arch. Again, scrape it down, peel away, and there we go. Okay, so now moving on to this pink arch, and we'll do the same thing. Okay, again, I have my parchment paper as a barrier there, and I'm actually finding that at this point I can just lay this down visually without that parchment paper. And I like how that looks. We're all set. Scrape and peel away. Okay, one last piece. It's just our happy birthday arch. Oh, I just realized that I weeded out the little exclamation point. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, I did find it, and I am going to take the time to put that back on because that is just way cute. Okay, easy peasy, fixed. Now I will place this on my sign. Okay, just peeling off that cutting carrier sheet. And then again, you can still use parchment paper if you'd like, but at this point, I think visually it's just as easy to line up. But whatever makes you feel the most confident is the right answer. Okay, so I love that. Press down, scrape down, and then peel up. How cute! Oh my goodness, I love how that looks. That is so fun. She is going to love that. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed how this turned out. I think it is so cute, and honestly I think it might be one of my favorite things I've made with my Cricut. I love the little holographic look. I'm not sure if it's really showing very well on camera, but it is so cute. So I hope you enjoyed this and found this helpful. I hope this inspired you in any way if you are party planning or if you just need help layering vinyl. But I think this is going to be just the perfect little topper for her little unicorn cake. Alright everyone, be sure to let me know what you think of the final look in the description box below. That's probably a little better. And I will be sure to see you in the next video.